Hi and welcome. My name is Sophie and I am the codependency coach for millennial women. I'm so glad you're here. This means you've taken a huge step towards learning how to live your best life in quarantine, your best codependency-free life while in quarantine. And I'm going to teach you how to do this throughout the next 7 days by releasing a series of videos with corresponding PDFs that will include helpful tips and self-reflective questions that you can use to assess how you're feeling, what you're thinking, how those thoughts are affecting your actions and the results you're creating in your life during this course and beyond. So my intention is that you use everything you learn in this course well beyond the end of these 7 days. I want you to take this into every day of your life, in quarantine and when this is all over. So the topics that we're going to cover in this quarantine course are a lot of issues that almost all of my clients have been bringing to me in sessions. We're going to be covering boundaries and how to maintain and potentially reassess or renegotiate your boundaries while in quarantine. We're going to talk about focus and having control over your time, control over your schedule, even when it feels like everything is outside of your control. I'm going to teach you how to take that control back. We're going to talk about healthy habits, both emotional and physical. So one side effect of codependency is a lot of overeating, overdrinking, oftentimes, over shopping, overspending, all of these things. But we're going to focus on overeating and overdrinking and how you can be a really effective processor of your own emotions so that you aren't driven to numb out or buffer with food and alcohol during this quarantine, because I know that that can be so easy for so many people because that is a way that we're used to resisting our emotions instead of doing the often challenging and painful work of feeling them and processing them and allowing them to release. So we're going to go deep into that in lesson 3. Lesson 4 is going to be all about achieving a goal. So I love goal achievement, and my favorite part about goal achievement is that it doesn't have to include cruelty. You can achieve your goals through kindness and gentleness with yourself, through softness, through love and compassion. So we're going to talk all about setting a small goal and achieving it, because this will do wonders for your own relationship with yourself, your self-accountability, your self-trust, your self-worth, your self-respect. This is one of the hallmarks of healing from codependency, is learning how to keep commitments to yourself that you make for yourself, not for anyone else. Okay, this is one of my favorite lessons because it really resituates your sense of approval, permission, appreciation back in yourself, which is where it belongs, not outside of you in the hands of anyone else. Lesson 5, we're going to talk about the illusion of control. So a lot of us, I've been hearing a lot, in the media about we've been upended. Everything we thought we knew was certain is now uncertain. But the truth is, you never actually had that certainty. You made plans for March and April that aren't going to happen, and they were never going to happen. You thought they were. You thought they were certain. You thought you had that degree of certainty, but you never did. So how can we resituate that sense of security, again, back in ourselves where it belongs, and not on anything outside of us? My coach likes to talk about the concept of being anti-fragile. How can you develop a sense of anti-fragility so that, yes, there can be circumstances that you can't control, but that doesn't have to immobilize you and destroy your whole world? Lesson number 6 is all about controlling your thoughts. So this is one of the areas in which most people feel the most out of control. A lot of my clients come to me and they say, well, I have all these really painful thoughts, these really painful emotions, and I feel oppressed by them. I feel like I can't control my life because my emotions are controlling my life. And in lesson 6, I'm going to teach you all about taking back control over the thoughts you're thinking and thinking thoughts that serve you on purpose instead of living by the subconscious thoughts that you've been habitually thinking your whole life that aren't producing results that you want in your life. It's a very powerful lesson. That's day 6. And lesson 7 is all about connection with yourself and others. So one of the most important things right now in quarantine is connection. We are so separated. We are, kept apart from each other and oftentimes from ourselves. Again, if you're sitting in quarantine by yourself in your home and you're separating from yourself because you're overeating every minute of every day, you are not connecting with yourself. I don't care how much alone time you're spending. I don't know how many, movies you've watched or baths you've taken. You're not connecting with yourself if you're using these things as buffers away from your own thoughts and feelings that you don't want to examine. So, lesson number 7 is going to be all about that deep connection with yourself and how to then foster connection with others too, even during quarantine. So, again, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for doing this for yourself. You deserve this. You really do owe it to yourself to spend these 7 days learning these 7 essential skills that will help you live your best life during quarantine. A lot of us feel as if this situation was thrust upon us, as if we didn't choose this. But one thing I've come to learn through all of my trials and tribulations in life is that even when I didn't know it, the things that I received, whether they felt great at the time or excruciatingly painful, were things that in some way I had been asking for, be it the situation itself or what came about as a result of it, who I became through it, who I became because of it, who I could never have become without it. So I encourage you to take a step into your own shoes, 4 weeks from now, 4 months from now, 4 years from now, and think, who is that woman? Think about who you want to be then, and how can you start living into that right now? How can you use this time in the most sacred way and become that version of yourself that you know you want to be, that you know you can be, despite circumstances that might convince you that that's not possible? How can you blow your own mind? It's my favorite question to ask. And I'm so glad that you're diving into this work with me. We're going to have so much fun. I want to let you know that you can always reply back to these emails and type in any questions that you have for me that you'd like me to cover on a future video. I also do live coaching calls every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Instagram Live. And if you'd like to volunteer to be coached live in front of my Instagram audience on those calls, again, you can reply back to this email and just say, hey, I would love to be coached totally for free, live on those calls. I'm in. I'm a brave soul. Let's do it. And I'll coach you there for free. Those spots fill up quickly. I only have 2 spots available per call. So if you don't get in on the next one, I'll just move your spot to the following week. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at Codependent Millennial. That's 2 L's and 2 N's. And you'll be able to follow along with the 7 days of living your best codependency-free life in quarantine there as well. Again, thank you, and a big thank you to you for doing this for you. Take a minute now. Just thank yourself, because you did just take a big step in developing deeper connection with yourself, developing that self-trust, that self-accountability, and that means everything in the journey of healing from codependency. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.